India, don't worry. If you're going to be in the Indian market, plenty of opportunities. People will keep buying gold. It's an investment. It's a safe haven. People just love it. They have to buy it. It's like a compulsion. It's like an addiction. So, India market, I think next 10, 15, 20 years, no problem. You all will have super success because the market is growing. Everybody is doing better than before. People's salaries are going up. People's expectations are going up. And so the market will always be there. Nothing to worry about. But challenging times, yes. From an export perspective, we are facing some challenges. That's part of life. This, according to me, is the most important. If you understand retail and you understand the consumer, you are able to be in business. What does the consumer want? What's the fashion trend? What are the young people desiring right now? Right? So once you understand the consumer, what they want and at what price they want. Correct? So if you understand the consumer, yes, you may be in the gold and diamond business, but you realize that there is a big trend even in silver and the CZ business. So it depends on what businesses you want to get into. It's after all part of jewelry. So understanding the consumer and understanding the retail. By retail, I mean at least not so much in India, but overseas is the price point. Ethics and trust factor. You may say, yeah, trust. What ethics? What trust? But if those of who are in our business, in diamond business, they know that we sell based on trust. 1 crore rupees diamonds exchange hands based on trust. I know him. Okay, there is no advance check taken, there is no LC, there is no promissory note, nothing. So our entire business is based on trust. Who we can give, and our numbers add up very quickly, especially in the gold and diamond business. A crore of rupees happens just like that. 50 lakhs just like that. 1 kilo of gold today is 70 lakhs. Correct? So to do any business, the trust factor is very important. If you are the person who is receiving jewelry and onward selling it, the person who is selling it to you has to have enough trust in it. Correct? Then you have to have trust in the other person whom you are giving. So it works both ways. The buyer and the seller both have to be trustworthy. Then our business is a very labor-intensive business. You need, like I have 750 workers, it sounds insane, the amount of people that I sometimes get worried. So what is important is productivity and people. You can have so many people, but if you don't have the necessary productivity, it will not be a very profit-making business. Okay? And people are very important. What is the caliber of people that you have? If you have a person who is going to polish 6 rings a day against another person who is going to polish 20 rings, which is the norm, then you need the quality of people. You need the right people. You need to encourage them. You need to motivate them. You need to train them. And most important is you need to upskill them. They may have learned something 10 years ago, but 10 years later you have to upskill them. So in our business, because it is labor intensive, productivity, people, and compensating them correctly is super important. If you have a quality product, you will get a certain price for it. A Tanishq will be able to sell a similar ring for a higher price than a local jeweler who will have a same copy. That is branding, not only just branding, it will have a definitely it will have an improved superior quality. What does that mean? With the naked eye, you might find both are looking same, but when you put a glass to it, you will see the amount of porosity that is there on a ring. Vis-a-vis a Tanishq product, which will have probably no porosity. So things like that. So quality product is extremely important. So right now, China is going through a very hard time, and a bulk of our natural diamonds were going to China. Okay, it's a very substantial market for India for loose diamonds. That market has totally dried up because China is not buying natural diamonds right now. Their economy is under pressure. The American economy is also under pressure. So there also people are buying less. So whilst people will buy jewelry if they're getting married, if there's a 10th anniversary, if there's a birthday, etc., etc. But a large portion of the jewelry business is an impulse buy. 45-year-old lady, 55-year-old lady, 40 to 60-year-old ladies buy a lot of jewelry on impulse purchase. Two reasons. They have the money to buy it, and The kids have gone to college, they have nothing much to do, they are walking in the malls, they have extra money, their husbands are having a good job, they can buy. And America gives you credit, you can pay over 20 months, 30 months. So they buy a piece of jewelry, they want to pay $100 every month for the next 20 months, so they'll buy a $2,000 piece of jewelry. So that impulse buying is there.
He's a chartered accountant by education. Started this business about 25 years ago. He's the founder, CEO of the business. He is also at the helm of GJSCI, which is Gems and Jewellery Skill Council of India. So that is a council which is a joint body which is established by the GJEPC, which is Export Promotion Council, GJC, which is the Domestic Council, and a few other bodies, like GDB, which is to ensure steady supply of skilled manpower to the industry. So effective conversion of talent into productive workforce is the mandate for GJSCI. He is the president of GJSCI. He is also the president of Seeds, Gems and Jewellery Manufacturers Association. So he kind of represents the group of manufacturers who collectively rake in $3.5 billion in revenue. So that's the mandate he has. And today he is here. The idea to invite him with us was, while all of you are at the crossroads of making your career choices, we thought that we haven't so far had a session on purely export-oriented businesses and the kind of ecosystem that's available to anyone who's willing to get into this kind of a course, no matter whether you are a fresh beginner or you are in this part of the business. Maybe you do not have a background, you come from a business background, all right, but the first steps that you want to take are in exports, which by far is probably the first in your legacy businesses. So we thought that we will take Sir's help in showing us the way, or to tell us about what to look for if we want to make a difference. Yeah. So over to you, sir.
Good evening, everybody. Apurva has introduced me briefly. I'm glad to be here to share some thoughts with you. Let's understand the jewelry business. We are talking of only two items, right? We are talking of gold, silver, platinum, and we are talking of diamonds. Jewelry itself, it's a very vast field, right? You have many other different kinds of jewelry, costume jewelry, etc., etc. But our focus here, or at least my focus or my understanding of this business, is restricted to, or our conversation today is restricted to only metal and diamonds. Basically, it is your good quality jewelry. Now, what is this business? Between India and overseas, it's a very large business. USA itself accounts for close to $100 billion of business. It's a very substantial business that one can get into. But it is kind of a closed door business. The entry is, I wouldn't say restricted, but everybody cannot just tomorrow get up and say, I'll buy gold, I'll buy diamonds, I'll make jewelry and get into the business. It's a process. That is why I asked that how many of you are coming from family backgrounds. So if you all have a loose diamond business, then logically you all will, you or your parents or your families would want to get into manufacturing of jewelry. But very few people, myself included, just started from scratch and built it. So it's not impossible, but it's a longer journey. Having said that, overseas and even in India, in overseas also there are large chains, but a bulk of the business is run by mom and pops, which is one store, two store people. Okay, and then there are the larger chains, like in the USA, Signet Group is the largest group. It has 3,000 stores. Halesburg is a large group, and then there are departmental stores like Macy's and Walmart and Sam's Club who also sell jewelry. So jewelry is big, and the big jewelry component comes only from the metal and the diamonds. So that's where the expensive part comes from. But a large part of the business is done by the mom and pop. There is one or two store people. It's a very big business. Organized, not very well organized. These people buy word to mouth. Once you've been selling to them for the last 10 years, they keep on buying from you. So there's a big trust factor. There's a big connect. very, very unusual for somebody to walk in with a bag of jewelry into an American store in a place like Denver and say, "Hey guys, I'm here to sell you jewelry." They won't entertain you. So it's a long connect which people have. People have developed years of relationships. Even today, if you want to just sell jewelry, can you walk into a store in Rajasthan or a store in UP or Haryana and say, "मुझे jewelry बेचना है"? Unlikely. So you develop contacts over a period of time. So it's a process. Because of the trust factor, once they buy from you, they start buying from you. So it's a relationship. And in this, there is nothing like, it's all credit, it's all on trust based. So I give you jewelry and then you pay me after 30 days. Or I give you jewelry, you pay me after 15 days. So it's a trust factor. There is no promissory note, there is no checks, there is no payment advance. Limited, So our business runs a lot on trust. Very important factor, which I'll come to at a later stage. Then, whilst we're discussing the metal and diamonds, bridal accounts for a very large portion of our business. So 75% of our business is bridal, which is engagement rings and wedding bands. Engagement rings and wedding bands, why is it such a large business? Because the center stones, which what GIA does, certifies them and gives it an authentic value, is a very large portion of the jewelry. So if somebody is buying an engagement ring for $6,000, $7,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 is the value of the stone. And this is the place where a whole bunch of it gets certified, authenticate that yes, it's a VVS stone, it's a D color, it's a E color, flawless, etc., which you all by now understand these terms. So based on those GIS certification, the values get derived, and based on that, the final product value comes. So within jewelry space, bridal takes up a very large portion of the value. The rest of it is fashion, which is again gold, diamonds, platinum, and etc., etc. And then the other costume, jewelry, etc., etc. I'm not even covered. For India, we have a very large export opportunity. I am an exporter, so I will talk a little bit more about exports. I'll give you some idea of the Indian market also, but predominantly exports. So why do we have a very large export opportunity? Because worldwide, it's China plus one. Now, the thinking is China plus one. When you buy something from China, USA has imposed a very large amount of duty, close to 20-25% duty, whilst from India, when you export, the duty is only 5.7%. So we have an advantage from India. Now, to capture that advantage, do we have the skill sets to manufacture what China does? We have not yet reached that. China manufactures very high-end jewelry because for years they've been manufacturing. The Bulgaris of the world, they manufacture their jewelry in Bangkok and China. They don't come to India because we are not yet ready. We will get there. We'll eventually get there. But right now we are not ready. So we are not ready to handle the larger brands. India predominantly is not ready to handle the larger brands. It's coming. Smaller brands are coming, but the larger brands still are not in India. They don't manufacture here because, not because we don't have the ability. We have the ability, but we have to give them confidence. What does that mean? That means that you are going to manufacture for them a quality product. Unless you manufacture a quality product, nobody will come to you. So quality product is one. The second most important part is consistency. For the first 1 month, you manufacture a quality product, and then what? People want consistency, the same level of product, month after month, year after year, year after year. So unless you can give a quality product consistently, you're not interested. Which means lots of quality standards to be handled in a professional manner, etc., etc. We still don't have that. We still lack professionalism in terms of the fact that we are quality conscious, but we need to be at a very different level of quality conscious, which we still don't have. We have still not inculcated it in our karigars. We are way behind on that. The next thing is, what is jewelry business? It is a gifting business. It is celebration. It is moments, somebody's wedding, somebody's 10th anniversary, somebody's birthday. So our business is, as I call, enjoy the moments business. We're all buying jewelry to enjoy a moment, right? Other than that, yeah, I mean, girls will walk into a department store and if they're buying a dress, they'll see some $300-400 small earring, that's self-purchase. They'll buy a earring, they'll buy a ring to match up with their dress, etc. That happens. Now, that also, for that girl is a moment, right? She's going out for a party, she's buying a new dress, she wants to buy some matching earring, things like that. So it's again a moment to enjoy. But the bulk of our business is your weddings, which India, how the wedding business is, the jewelry business is, it's the same everywhere. So birthdays, and then Mother's Day, and then Valentine's Day, these are all opportunities which have been created in the American market. These were created to promote our product. So it's the business, it's a enjoy the moments business is how I call it. From an India perspective, a lot of us or our parents have all thought that it's good investment. Invest in gold, keep it, kabhi bhi kaam aaye. Correct? So even today, traditionally, if you go down deep south, deep into hinterlands in India, once the farmers, their crop money comes in, they'll go and buy some gold jewelry. It's a safety net. In any time in an emergency, you can go to any time in the middle of the night, you can go to the Marwari shop or whatever, you can put your gold jewelry, get money. So it's a safe haven as far as India is concerned. So in our case in India, it's investments, it's a safe haven. I don't know whether, and I don't think it's the same in a country like America or Europe, where they consider it as an investment or a safe haven. They have bought it. It does not form a significant part of their overall wealth. In India, if somebody has a 1 crore wealth, maybe they'll have invested 30-40 lakhs in jewelry. That's how India works. Overseas, it doesn't work like that. People will buy an engagement ring, people will buy a bracelet, etc., but it's not a big part of their investments and they don't consider it as a safe haven, unlike in India. Jewelry, big status value, big emotional value connect. My mother gave me this pendant and I'm going to give it to my daughter. Correct? That's how families in India work. Families also overseas also work the same way. This was my grandmother's ring. I'm going to give it to my wife. So there is a huge emotional value and a huge emotional connect to jewelry, which is very important. Our industry has this very unique situation of having a emotional value and an emotional connect to whatever we buy. However small it is, this was given. And at least in India, a lot amongst the girls will always be proud to preserve that small ring my daddy gave me or my nanny gave me or my mom gave, right? So there's a huge emotional connect to jewelry, which itself means that, just go back to which means that between, you understand this whole part, it's a gifting business, it's celebration, enjoy the moments, the emotional connect, the status, very important, when you go to a wedding or depends on how well you're dressed up, it shows your status in life, you want a big necklace, a big 5-carat rock, okay, you are a rock star, right? Now, here I want to say one thing, very important. Today we all know that we have natural mined diamonds and we have lab-grown diamonds. Correct? You all are all aware of this part, yes? Now, there's a huge price difference. Okay, unfortunately today, both the diamonds, are they the same? They are meant to be the same. They have similar characteristics, correct? Only a machine can recognize whether this is a lab-grown diamond or this is a natural diamond. What does that mean? Let's say between the two of you, your wife wears a natural stone, your wife wears a similar ring with a lab-grown stone. Two wives walk into the same party, both wearing 5-carat solitaire rings. The natural ring will cost 2 crores of rupees, the lab-grown ring will cost 2 lakhs of rupees. See the price difference. But both have the same appeal walking. Who's wearing what? Both are wearing, wow, 5 carat ring. 5 carat ring. Now, very important. Jewelry, you have to be able to carry it off. What does that mean? Imagine if a lady is wearing a Marks and Spencer dress and she's wearing a 5 carat ring. And now there is another lady who's wearing a Gucci dress, has a Louis Vuitton bag, and she's carrying a 5 carat ring. Both people walking in at the same time, both have identical rings, no doubt about that. Now, the 5 carat which the lady is wearing is obviously going to be spotted as inka natural lagta hai, inka fake lagta hai. Unfortunately, because the way you are carrying it, you're wearing a Marks and Spencer. So the point is, if you cannot afford a 5 carat, just because you're getting a lab grown, my recommendation is don't wear a Marks and Spencer and wear a 5 carat. Wear a sober 1 carat ring. You will be able to carry it. You will be able to present yourself correctly. Because in this case, you will be make out here which nakli hai. The lady who is wearing the Gucci and the Louis Vuitton bag and everything can carry off a 5 carat stone. And that's the beauty of all these years. You know why the 5 carat stone is valued at 2 crores of rupees. It has a value, right? It was created. Diamonds had a value. Now with the lab grown, unfortunately, on a one-on basis, that value is getting destroyed. But people who want a natural stone today also want a natural stone. Very clear. So there is a huge market for natural minestone, and that is where GIA is lending a tremendous amount of authenticity to it, because they are certifying it as a proper stone with a certificate, and you can, it has a resale value based on that, etc., etc. So I just try to, in my own way, separate a lab-grown and a natural stone. How different it is, how people can carry it off, cannot carry it off. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. So this is roughly the jewelry business that I thought I should give you some broad idea about. Now, what is our ecosystem for in India? I'm talking from exports. So we have the SEZs and the SEEPs. Most of you know SEEPs. It's in Andheri. I'm sure you know about it, but it's an ecosystem whereby there are 145 factories. Within SEEPs, you can only export. Right now, you cannot manufacture for the local market. Hopefully, next year, we will get permissions to even manufacture for the local market after paying the necessary duties. So right now, it's only the export market. We manufacture and ship about $3.5 billion of jewelry. So we account for maybe 0.5% of India's total exports. But it's a significant amount. Why? Because from that small place of 100 acres, we can do a $3.5 billion business, and there's a potential to do much more. So I have a slide on SEEPs. We'll talk a little bit more. So within the ecosystem, you have the manufacturing, you have the VDB, just opposite here, where all the diamond trading goes on. It all gets manufactured in Surat. Most of you know about it. Then there is the rest of the India. In rest of India, it's most of the manufacturing is for the domestic market. Our domestic market is huge. Our domestic market is 90% gold. We all love gold. We Indians are absolutely in love with gold because it's a safe haven, etc., etc. Gifting at weddings, 100 tolas, 200 tolas. Down south, and up north, it's an insane amount of gold that exchanges hands when girls get married, etc., etc. You all know. So the domestic market is huge. It's 90% gold, and maybe 10-15% export market is still there. Even in Mumbai, outside SEEPs in the MIDC area, there are about 500-600 small factories who export to the overseas market. So that's pretty much the ecosystem. As I said, manufacturing for brands is still in a limited way in India. Bangkok and China still are ahead of the game. I'm not saying we are not there. We are getting there. So there is a huge scope, mega scope for us to get our hands on that export business, which is the branded business. As you all later on decide to go into it, a lot of effort, a lot of different kind of logistics involved, but it's an untapped market for India, and eventually it will get tapped. The overseas branded people are looking at India if they can find a factory which can consistently give them good product, good finish, etc. They give you all the facilities. They give you the designs. They just want you to manufacture a quality product. So we will get there. It's a big opening. So you all should keep this in mind that there's a huge opening if you want to be in the jewelry industry for exports. Huge market, still untapped, a lot of it. Rest of the India domestic market is growing, booming. You see Titan and you see all the Malabar and everybody. You see how their share prices are going up, $500 to $1,000. They are opening up showrooms and people are just in India wanting to buy jewelry. Why? Because right now there is. How do you buy jewelry? You buy when you have disposable surplus available in your hands. So right now people are doing well in India. So at the end of the year, you're saving some money, you're earning well, you're saving some money, you're putting it into jewelry. Correct? Once you have a house, the next thing is you want to put more and more into jewelry. So there's a huge market, and this market is only going to grow in India. Grow means the growth will be more than 10, 12, 15%. Exponential growth every year on year, I can say, easily for the next 10, 20 years. I will tell you what it will take for you all guys, what you need to pay attention to in the next slides. But between the ecosystem that we have, the ecosystem is getting built, more people are creating facilities, and it will keep growing. So what is SEEPS? As I said, it's a 100-acre facility built by the government of Maharashtra to develop jewelry. It started as early as 1990. And today there are 145 factories. We employ about 75,000 people. And we export about $3.5 billion of jewelry every year. Okay, it's a significant amount to come out of one place. What is good about SEEPS is, it is a fully secured area. So you have in each factory 30 crores, 40 crores, 50 crores worth of jewelry, gold, diamonds lying. So it's a secured area. Anybody just cannot walk in. That's very important. Second is the availability of karigars. You see, our industry is less of automation, more of work by hand, right? So you need a large pool of workers, and workers know over the years that yes, SEEPS mein job milega. So we have about 70,000 people coming in, and we generate more karigars every year. So the availability of karigars, availability of talent is there. Plus, you can import and export from SEEPS zone through customs very easily, super easy. Okay, you can import whatever you want, you can export. There are some basic rules that you have to follow. The ease of doing business is extremely important, and which SEEPS allows you. Okay, so there is an ease of doing business in SEEPS, which is very important. So going from SEEPS, now in SEEPS, go to the next page. So 4 or 5 years ago, Piyush Goyal, who is our commerce minister, he was interacting with GJEPC. You all know what GJEPC stands for? Gems and Jewellery Export Promotion Council. It's the premier body under the Ministry of Commerce who coordinates, manages, decides policies for our trade. The trade is diamonds and jewelry. So GJEPC is the most prominent body as far as our trade is concerned. So in the interaction, he said, okay, how can we increase exports of India? How can people benefit? And so one conversation came up is that we need to create what is called a common facility center. CFC stands for Common Facility Center. And eventually, the government of India named it as Bharat Ratna. It was inaugurated by the Prime Minister sometime in January. So what is CFC and how was it conceptualized? The idea was that smaller people didn't have access to certain kind of technology. Small person who wanted to manufacture 5 pieces, he didn't have to have a casting machine with himself. So he can come here, get the pieces casted and then give it to a babu, file it, polish it, set it and then sell it. If there is some gold residue, he can come here and refine it. So there are 18 facilities which are available, which anybody can avail of these facilities. So if you want to start your small business and you don't have all these facilities, you don't have to buy those expensive equipment, you can come here, get your job work done. Okay? It's not that we are manufacturing a whole piece of jewelry for you. we are doing smaller parts for you. So if you need help with CAD manufacturing, you come there, give your paper design, we'll make a CAD for you. If you want that CAD to be rendered, make a video, we'll make that for you. If you want your piece to be casted, we'll cast platinum for you, we cast gold for you. If you have gold residue, you want to refine it and again make it into gold, we'll refine for you. You want facilities on CNC, numerically controlled machines, we have there. So we have lots of facilities. So I was associated with this. We were a team of 4 people. And so from the groundbreaking, we built this in 14 months, which is a record for building a 140,000 square feet facility complete. So we worked day and night on this. Let's put it this way, I was very fortunate to have been associated with this, to got the opportunity to build something like this and to contribute to society back. So yes, we built that. Then we come to, you see, we have seen the business, we have seen that there is SEEPs, we have seen that there is mega CFC, we've gone through a few things. Now, training. I mean, our industry requires n number of people to do manufacturing. Even if it is the sorting, you need 30, 40 people to sort, to grade stone, everything is human intervention, right? Machinery, automation is still limited. Now, for training, where do people go to let's say you want to tomorrow start a small business, right? You need some people to hire, etc., etc. Where do our people get skills from? Besides a few of you in GIA who are taking this course in GIA, IIGJ campus. So we have the Indian Institute of Gem and Jewellery, which has several campuses across India. One of them is in Mumbai. We have a Jaipur campus, we have a Delhi campus, we have a Udupi campus, we have a Varanasi campus. So in these various campuses, there are various courses which are offered to people who want to be in this industry. There is a diploma course, there is a graduation course, and now IIGJ is planning to be affiliated and become a deemed university. So we ourselves will be able to give you your graduate degrees as and when next year this happens. IIGJ is part of GJEPC. So the Gems and Jewellery Export Promotion Council now has several campuses which are called IIGJ. So within that whole ecosystem, probably starting next year, you will be able to graduate or you'll be able to earn a 1-year diploma course in the jewelry industry. GIA, you all know already here how the training happens for diamonds. JOSH. JOSH is an acronym for Jewelry Occupation Skill Hub. We started this 2 years ago in SEEPs, where we train karigars. So this is for blue-collar workers. We take in students who are 8th standard fail, girls, boys coming from very low society strata, who otherwise would not get a job, who otherwise would be only sweeping floors or stealing or cleaning stuff. So we pull them in and we train 200 students, and we have the capacity to train 200 students every 3 months. What do we teach them? We teach them wax setting, we teach them metal setting, we teach them how to file, assemble a piece, we teach them how to polish a piece, we teach them how to work on CAD and diamond assortment. So these are 3-month courses we run. These are run free of cost. So the student doesn't have to pay because they come from very poor backgrounds. They cannot afford to pay 15,000, 1 lakh of rupees for the courses. So we have to bring those people up. We not only teach them free of charge, we pay them 2,000 rupees as a stipend to allow them to travel and to pay for their lunch. So we pay them 2,000 rupees, they come, we teach them, we give them a diploma certificate, and we then employ them in the SEEPs factories. So they have learned for 3 months the basics, then they come into our factories in SEEPs and they become apprentice for 12 months. At the end of 12 months, they become a full karigar and they are absorbed into our regular workforce. Okay. As apprentice, they earn starting from 10,000, they go up to 16,000, and at the end of the year, they get a regular job as a blue-collar worker. Now, who funds it? Of course, Josh has to be funded, right? We're going to teach them for free. We are going to pay them a stipend. So, through the CSR facilities, we collect funds from like-minded jewelry people. GIA is one of them who is going to put in some money into that and support. So it's a initiative of the seeps trade whereby we are training karigars. We would like to train 200 every year. Now within that 200 students, we have also made a facility for 40 students who are deaf and dumb. So we teach deaf and dumb students also filing, polishing, setting, these three skills, and then absorb them into the workforce. So we have a capacity of 40. We are not able to get 40 students. It's not the easiest. It's very challenging to get these students in, but we have done till now about 70-80 students have been trained. So that's another good part of Josh. I'm saying this because I started Josh 2.5 years back. 20 factories came forward. We all contributed 10 lakhs of rupees each. We collected 2 crores and we set up this whole facility within seeps. So this is where you get your karigars who are formally trained from Josh, Jewellery Occupational Skill Hub. And then where do a bulk of the karigars come from? They learn on the job. Okay, they learn it with their babus. Their fathers have been doing karigari. Somewhere or other they come to us as apprentices. We in our own factories, my factory has 750 people. So in our factories, we take people who we know. So somebody's sister, somebody's neighbor, etc., etc. We take them in, apprentice 30, 40, and we train them up the correct way that they should be trained, and we absorb them in our workforce. And most factories in seeps do that. So that's basically the ecosystem that is available today for training. This karigar learning on the job being the largest. At Josh, we can do maybe 200 students every 3 months, so maybe 700-800 students. GIA can generate another 500,000 students, but it's a very small portion of between the first three, the organized work. The karigars who we need, majority trained on the job, so we need to create bigger facilities, which we will. So Josh is an example which we've done in 2 years now. We'll replicate them in various other cities and see whether we can get these karigars to be formally trained in the correct way. So that's our training ecosystem which we have at present for the industry. Now, these are some very important aspects which I think are relevant to you all who want to step into the jewelry business. The first one is creativity. Okay, what will people buy? Something which they like, correct? So the design ability has to be there. The care ability has to be there. This is extremely important. So the creative part. You can sell anything for below the price, low price, off-market price. But people won't buy a piece of jewelry unless it has an appeal. So creativity is a very important part. Going forward, technology. I haven't written it in any particular order, so there are just 8 points. Technology is becoming extremely important. Why? Because all of us now have a mobile phone. Everything happens on a mobile phone. So technology is very important. People are buying jewelry big time just on a mobile phone, going on a relevant site, seeing how the videos are, seeing the feel, look, and buying it. So technology is today becoming very important. If you want to create a small brand of yours, put it on Instagram, etc., etc., technology comes in. So technology from that perspective is gaining enormous amount of importance going forward. The key part, one of the key part in our business is understanding retail and the consumer. This, according to me, is the most important. If you understand retail and you understand the consumer, you are able to be in business. What does the consumer want? What's the fashion trend? What are the young people desiring right now? Correct? So once you understand the consumer, what they want and at what price they want, correct? So if you understand the consumer, yes, you may be in the gold and diamond business, but you realize that there is a big trend even in silver and CZ business. So it depends on what businesses you want to get into. It's after all part of jewelry. So understanding the consumer and understanding the retail. By retail, I mean at least not so much in India, but overseas, is the price point. Something sells very well for $299, $399, $599. These are price points where people are able to sell large volume of product. So you have to merchandise your product accordingly. So understanding the consumer and the retail is a very important part of our business. Ethics and trust factor. You may say, "Kya trust? What ethics? What trust?" But if those of who are in our business, in diamond business, they know that we sell based on trust. 1 crore rupees diamonds exchange hands based on trust. I know him. Okay, there is no advance check taken, there is no LC, there is no promissory note, nothing. So our entire business is based on trust. Who we can give, and our numbers add up very quickly, especially in the gold and diamond business. 1 crore of rupees happens just like that. 50 lakhs just like that. 1 kilo of gold today is 70 lakhs rupees. Correct? So to do any business, the trust factor is very important. So you have to be good.
Don't you think it's very risky?
It's very risky. Yes, so you have to be in the trade for long enough to understand that you can take that risk and you can give that credit. Okay, there is credit. In the local market, still for just gold jewelry, there is no credit. You make it, next day they pay. Okay, but other than that, in a fair amount of businesses, there is, at least in the overseas export market, everything is credit based. So you have to give credit, and there is no letter of credit. There is nothing like that. But that's where families have done business over the years. They know what to do, who to sell to, etc., etc. So trust factor becomes very important in two ways. If you are the person who is receiving jewelry and onward selling it, the person who is selling it to you has to have enough trust in you. Correct? Then you have to have trust in the other person whom you are giving. So it works both ways. The buyer and the seller both have to be trustworthy. Then our business is a very labor-intensive business. You need, like I have 750 workers. It sounds insane, the amount of people that I'm trying. Sometimes get worried. So what is important is productivity and people. You can have so many people, but if you don't have the necessary productivity, it will not be a very profit-making business. Okay? And people are very important. What is the caliber of people that you have? If you have a person who is going to polish 6 rings a day against another person who is going to polish 20 rings, which is the norm, then you need the quality of people. You need the right people. You need to encourage them. You need to motivate them. You need to train them. And most important is you need to upskill them. They may have learned something 10 years ago, but 10 years later you have to upskill them. So in our business, because it is labor intensive, productivity, people, and compensating them correctly is super important. Marketing and branding, I hardly need to speak to you about that. Marketing and branding will be very important as you go on. Whether it's your small brand that you are creating for your local market in which you are in, you create a small brand, you market it correctly, that's where the business will come. Quality product. Again, not much to speak about. Yes, product has to have a certain quality. Without that, if you have a quality product, you will get a certain price for it. A Tanishq will be able to sell a similar ring for a higher price than a local jeweler who will have a same copy. That is branding, not only just branding, it will have improved superior quality. What does that mean? With the naked eye, you might find both are looking same, but when you put a glass to it, you will see the amount of porosity that is there on a ring, vis-a-vis a Tanishq product, which will have probably no porosity. So things like that. So quality product is extremely important. Okay, industry is going through challenging times. Do you all know that the industry is going through challenging times? You all know. Okay. What are the reasons why the industry is going through challenging times? Any idea? I'll give you bits and pieces, but if you know, if you don't, that's fine as well. See, we have had a couple of challenges in the industry right now. Suddenly, lab grown came in the last 2-3 years and took over a big portion of the natural diamond market. And lab grown gained acceptance with consumers all over the world because it was price competitive. It looked very good. So it didn't matter once you wear the ring, it looked great. So instead of a natural stone, which was an I2, I3 stone, now for that or lower price, people were getting a VS stone in lab grown. So that has been a market disruptor. Plus, gold prices have gone up to crazy levels. Okay, average $1,800, $1,900, $2,000 gold is now at $2,800 gold. So, gold has been another big disruptor. Plus, you see, though jewelry is a thing to enjoy the moment, so people will buy. Now, if there's a wedding in the family, you will buy your jewelry. But then the other part of the business, which is impulse purchase, gets restricted when you do not have enough money in your pocket. Correct? So right now, China is going through a very hard time, and a bulk of our natural diamonds were going to China. Okay, it's a very substantial market for India for loose diamonds. That market has totally dried up because China is not buying natural diamonds right now. Their economy is under pressure. The American economy is also under pressure. So there also people are buying less. So whilst people will buy jewelry if they're getting married, if there's a 10th anniversary, if there's a birthday, etc., but a large portion of the jewelry business is an impulse buy. 45-year-old lady, 55-year-old lady, 40 to 60-year-old ladies buy a lot of jewelry on impulse purchase. Two reasons: they have the money to buy, and the kids have gone to college, they have nothing much to do, they are walking in the malls, they have extra money, their husbands are having a good job, they can buy, and America gives you credit, you can pay over 20 months, 30 months. So they buy a piece of jewelry, they want to pay $100 every month for the next 20 months, so they'll buy a $2,000 piece of jewelry. So that impulse buying is there. But impulse buying is also there when the economy has money. So during COVID time, jewelry did the best. Jewelry business peaked in COVID times. It peaked in COVID times because America was giving out checks to everybody. Trump decided that everybody should get $3,000-4,000 in their pocket, in their bank account. So much money flooded America. And what did they do? They bought luxury goods. They bought jewelry, they bought Gucci jackets, they bought all the fancy stuff. And so business peaked during COVID. They had nothing to do. Online, they purchased, they had money, they had checks coming in from the US government every month. They had nothing to lose. So that's when our business peaked. Right now, yes, it's challenging times, but does that mean that it will remain? Every industry goes through a challenging phase, right? There is a cycle. So we will also go through a cycle right now, and we'll rectify. So next year, people will decide what the business should be, whether you should be more in natural, you should be more in lab grown. If gold is going to be at $3,000, some of it will move into silver. So there will be a readjustment of our industry. Will India get affected? Not so much. People will still buy gold. Okay, instead of buying a necklace for 15 grams, they'll buy a 10-gram necklace because they have only 1 lakh rupees to spend. But we are so much in love in India with gold. It's like, I don't know whether within families people love each other more or people love gold more. I don't know which one it is. I think it's more gold after a point in time that people love. So India, don't worry. If you're going to be in the Indian market, plenty of opportunities. People will keep buying gold. It's an investment. It's a safe haven. People just love it. They have to buy it. It's like a compulsion. It's like an addiction. So India market, I think next 10, 15, 20 years, no problem. You all will have super success because the market is growing. Everybody is doing better than before. People's salaries are going up. People's expectations are going up. And so the market will always be there. Nothing to worry about. But challenging times, yes. From an export perspective, we are facing some challenges, but that's part of life. Then what's the next slide? Okay. This is not me saying it. I've just borrowed it from somewhere to put it on. Okay. For me, ethics is very important. Okay. So I found this beautiful writing somewhere, and I thought I would share it with you. Okay? Here, there's nothing much for me to explain. It's English. If you follow these few things in life, I think it'll just improve you as a person, it'll make you a better person. But as I always say, whatever you do has to be consistent. You have to keep on doing it, year after year after year after year. That's the only thing. You can do it 1 year and then not do it. It's like exercising. When you're young, you've pumped yourself up. Once you get married, done. No more going to gym. You now don't have to impress anybody, right? Okay, so consistency. You have to be consistent. You don't have to go to the gym every day. You have to go exercise at least 3-4 times a week. Okay, so consistency is super important. And so, same way, ethics. Before you pray, believe. No, it cannot be one time. No? You have to consistently follow this. So, consistency and ethics are very important to me to live a life. And you all, average age, what, 22 years, 23 years, 24 years. You have another 40 years to go. Today, life expectancy has increased. So hopefully all of you will be happy, healthy for at least 40 more years, right? 40 years is 4 decades. Lots of time to plan. Lots of time to do things. Every 10 years you decide I'll go to the next level. My goal is this, my goal is this. So lots of time, but for all that to happen, you need a little bit of this in your life. And I have the next slide also something similar. Read this, please. I must be honest, I borrowed this from Warren Buffett. Okay, he had once sent this out, and so I clicked it and I kept it, and I thought I would share it with you. You know, he's a great man, one of the best. And I thought it was very important. So sometimes you keep these few things in your phone as a picture, and then just sometimes once a week or so go through it and say, what the hell am I doing? Because when you reach my age and you'll realize, what have I done in 40 years? You have to answer yourself. Yes.
Right. So thanks.